I don't have it. You can have this copy. I'm sorry. It's, he's gonna read it out loud.
Did you need it? Did you need it?
No. You got it. All right, here we go.
Good evening and welcome to the special public meeting for the Lawrence City Council. Today is Wednesday, January 22nd, 2025. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Act of 2022, this meeting will be hybrid, allowing participation both in person at the City Council chambers and remotely. Anybody that requests the Zoom link for this meeting was provided through the City Clerk's office. This meeting is being live on the YouTube Lawrence City Council page. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Levy.
Present.
Councilor LaPlante.
Present.
Councilor Luzon.
Present.
Councilor Del Rosario.
Present.
Councilor Santiago.
Present.
Councilor Mamo.
Present.
Councilor Reyes.
Present.
Council Vice President Infante.
Present.
Council President Rodriguez.
Present. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice
for all. We have public participation for today. We have a list of people that would like to speak. The rules are as follow. You're going to have 2.5 minutes to speak, to express your concern about anything related to the city. Please refer to this council as a whole, not to any individual councilors. At the 2-minute mark, you are going to hear or see some type of signs indicating that you still have 30 seconds. The first person that we have is H. Smiley. Name and address for the record, please.
Humayun Mali, 53 Chester Street. Good evening, honorable members. In this historical moment of the city of Lawrence, as we searching a permanent police, we must know the Lawrence Police Department, one of the best police departments in the nation.
What's next?
Lawrence Police, with the impeccable leadership by Honorable Chief Bonilla, doing excellent job to protect our citizens. Lawrence Police, thank you for making Lawrence a safe city. We are proud to support Lawrence Police Union, Seniors Officers Union. Lawrence Police, this champion of the first responder. Lawrence Police, the union of pride and honor. In this historical struggle to find a leader, we are united to support our police officers. Lawrence Police, one of the best police departments in the nation, creating a safe city, despite the struggle to find a leader. We as a Laurentian stand united to support our Lawrence police officers in this historical moment as we citizens striving to find a permanent chief. This is another challenge for our city, the city of immigrants. We are proud to support Lawrence Police Union. We are very sure at the end of this process how challenging it has been disputed, has been such a great struggle. We, the Laurentian, we come ahead. We are praying for the safety of the police officers, and we are proud to support Lawrence Police Union. Thank you.
Thank you. The next person that we have on the list is Rich Russell, Councilor Russell. Name and address for the record, please.
I'm on my clock. Rich Russell, 34 Cross Street. The previous meeting heard mention of the Citizen Advisory Committee. When are we going to find out? who's on the Citizen Advisory Committee? Who picks it? Was it the citizens, was it you people, or was it the guy on the corner office on the 3rd floor? I applied, I haven't heard anything, so that remains to be seen. I guess white hair on a senior citizen means senility, but I hope right now that we are getting to the very end. This is we're approaching the finish line, but I have the greatest of faith that this is just the beginning of the second lap of a stumble, fumble, and trip steeplechase. Somebody's going to screw something up somewhere along the line, and this is going to continue ad infinitum. Now, previous meeting was mentioned a press conference. I've seen it in the newspaper. When is the press conference going to be announced? It's kind of late to announce it for tomorrow, and Friday, that's a short day. When are we going to find anything out? The last thing I've got to say is I did get a copy of the Bennett report. That thing looks like it's been shot by a machine gun. There's so many holes in it and redactions. What are they hiding? Who's hiding what? But again, it's good that it come out. My last thought, ideally, my 2 suggestions for police chiefs, I think is Bratton. He used to be with the MBTA in Boston, Los Angeles, New York, police commissioner, or Ed Davis. They'd straighten the situation out with the police chiefs, but I have the greatest of faith. Something's going to get screwed up somewhere along the line. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else that would like to speak on public participation that is not part of the list? Okay. Public hearing, we have communication from the mayor's office, city officials or city attorney. We have a communication from the mayor that we're going to read as part of the record in regard to this meeting. Madam Clerk, please read the notice.
Letter dated January 22nd, 2025, addressed to the Lawrence City Council, City Hall, Lawrence, Mass, regarding the Bennett report. It reads, Dear Councilors, I am unable to attend your meeting tonight. I am awaiting the results of a report I commissioned regarding the Castro situation. It is my belief that the Bennett report is incomplete and both reports need to be reviewed. Once the new report is complete, I will share a copy with the council and will have a press release discussing both reports. I thank you in advance for your cooperation. Sincerely, Brian A. DePena.
All right, the mayor have sent a notification to the city council in regard to this report. Tonight, we are going to be discussing an item that is item 2825, which is the review and discussion of the October 2024 Bennett report and related investigation. Secretary Sessions is anticipated. This item was put together by Council President Giovanni Rodriguez and Council Vice President Stephanie Infante. At this time, councilors, I would like to open up the floor to the city attorney that is here with us and share with us the findings of and anything else that we believe is important on the report.
Council President, please.
Sure.
Question.
Councilor Levy.
Thank you, Council President. You said that the meeting was requested by you?
Yes, the Council President and the Vice President, yes.
And the chair, and the vice chair.
Yeah, it's
So
only
it's
required
not-
to be by the President, but I mean, we did adjourn
Yeah,
it.
no, I know, but it has to be 3 people, no?
Unless there is a Council President involved,
Okay, thank you.
all right?
Council President. Council President,
Councilor Vice President Infante.
thank you. And I just want to reiterate or remind Councilor Levy, you were one of the councilors that wrote via email that you would like a separate meeting on this.
Yes.
I just, okay.
Yes, but
Yeah.
I just only asking that, you know, that.
Procedure-wise, we understand, Councilor Levy. Councilor De Rosario.
Thank you, through you. Before Attorney Houghton start, I just want to ask him a question. Are you going to be being the attorney representing the city, or you going to be an attorney representing this report? Which size are you representing, just in case?
I don't know how I would represent a report. I don't know what you mean by that.
Okay, so are you being here as a city attorney?
I'm the city attorney. You've asked me to, I have reviewed this report, to give you information of what I know about how it came about, what's happened since then, what's progress. Again, I did not prepare the report, so I'm not going to go into who was interviewed, what happened, et cetera, but I'll answer any and all questions I want, that you want. And how it came about, what's happened, where we are currently, et cetera. And I'm happy to answer any and all questions.
All right, you may proceed. Thank you.
Now we're going to open up the discussion, not the discussion, we're going to open up the opportunity for the city attorney to guide us on this discussion, giving us findings, when the report, who hired the company, and anything that he believes is important on the report. So, Attorney Houghton,
Okay.
you have the floor.
Let's go back to how did this come about, what's happening here, et cetera. As you may or may not know, William Castro was appointed as the temporary police chief for a period of 1 year. During that tenure, he was involved in an incident which involved a police chase. As a result of being involved in that incident, an investigation was undertaken by the Lawrence Police Department. The Lawrence Police Department then shared the results of that investigation with Post, and Post is the overseeing agency newly created which reviews certification for police officers and does training, et cetera, like that. As a result of that, they suspended Acting Chief Castro's credentials to be a police chief or be a police officer. Following that, the personnel, I don't want to call him manager, but the director of personnel, Michael Owens, was instructed that there needed to be an independent investigation. Clearly, it's hard for police personnel to investigate their own chief. There seems to be, almost an inherent problem with that. So a company, CIC investigation was engaged. Now, everybody, I'm going to refer to this as Bennett, and the only reason we're referring it as Bennett is that the lead owner of CIC Investigations' name is Bennett, so everybody calls it the Bennett Report, so I'm going to keep going in that same tone, keep calling it the Bennett Report. So, as a result, this company was engaged by the personnel director. This company has worked for the City of Lawrence before. We have used them for other investigations, certain investigations where we felt that there may be a conflict with the police department investigating themselves, so we looked for an outside agency. We found them to be reputable, and that's how we engaged them. As a result of that, they began an investigation, and they, I believe all of you have a copy, as you can see, the list of who they spoke to, who they interviewed, I believe of over 18 interviews, review of documents of almost 50 in length, review of department rules and regulations, review of any other documents. So, as a result of that, they were engaged in doing the investigation. At some point, it came to the point where they were looking to interview Acting Chief Castro himself. They received correspondence from Acting Chief Castro's attorney stating that he could not make the date that they had requested and requested a continuance. At that point, they informed him that they believed that the investigation was complete. They received correspondence from the mayor's chief advisor asking them, because at that point, we had a lot of events that happened at the same time. At that same time, the personnel director ceased to be working for the City of Lawrence. He was the direct connect between them. So the senior advisor asked the company to come in because there was going to have to be a new person that they were going to have to be connected with. At that point, they said there really is no need. That they believed that the report was complete, and they submitted the report. They submitted, I believe, a copy to me. I believe they sent a copy to Post, and I believe they sent a copy to the Lawrence Internal Affairs Unit. After that happened, the mayor, feeling that the document was incomplete as Acting Chief Castro was not interviewed, engaged the services of another company, and we're going to call this company Maverick. So there is a second investigation. The Maverick investigation is is, I believe, being almost complete now. The mayor is, once it's reviewed and redacted again, I know everybody hates redacting, but there are certain things that these documents fall into hands. If we have someone's social security number, if we have the names of witnesses, these are important things that, witnesses could be intimidated, people's identity could be stolen. So nobody likes to see redacted documents, but there's a reason for redaction. It's to protect people that really are not part of it. It's not to protect the person that's being investigated. It's not to protect, well, it is to protect the city against lawsuits, but you can see why there's redactions. And I know it gets frustrating because you try to read it like a book and someone's name is missing, but if you were that person, and you wouldn't want people bothering you, so you can understand why sometimes the names are removed. But as a result, we now have this report. I believe the other report will be finished this week. I believe the mayor is calling a press conference next week where he will go over both investigations at that point. I have many information as far as you want to know cost, you want to know any of those type of things. I think again, the investigation speaks for itself, but I'm happy to answer questions at this point. That's kind of just a little background. I want to see where you want me to go, and then I'll speak about it.
All right, if you believe there's a good summary of that Bennett report, and then we can open up for questioning. Do you think that is anything that is important when it comes to hiring that company, when it comes to the duration of the report, how long it took to do other interviews, stuff like that? And
I don't believe so. I think the report speaks for itself. I think it's a standard report. It's like any other. You review it and you judge it. As the report says itself, it is just a report to be used as a tool by either the mayor or the city council in deciding what they're going to do with various people. So that's the end result. It's really what.
do you mind going to through the findings?
Yeah, page 61 is the conclusions of the findings.
I apologize, I did not tab it.
No, I don't have it like that. I
We
have
have-
the report.
Can I tell them?
The conclusion?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I-
go ahead.
Page,
Attorney, if you are looking at the report that's
Page
redacted,
66?
61,
oh, you want 61?
it's the conclusions of the investigation.
Right, I believe the conclusion doesn't start until page 66.
Maybe we have different versions.
No, I'm just saying, there's a lot of information,
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, definitions and.
definitions, but their actual conclusion doesn't come from page 66.
Conclusion for every scenario.
Yep.
There isn't one conclusion for every scenario, there's a conclusion for every scenario.
I have it here.
The first conclusion is that the allegation that Acting Chief Castro violated Lawrence Police Department's manual policy regarding motor vehicles pursuit is sustained based on Acting Chief Castro's initiation of a motor vehicle pursuit. It says that Acting Chief Castro violated the motor vehicle pursuits policy because his pursuit did not fit the criteria for permissible pursuit. He created a highly dangerous situation leading to a car crash based on his desire to irresponsibly pursue individuals that allegedly attempted to pass a bad check. Acting Chief Castro drove on the sidewalk on the wrong way of a Canal Street bridge. For these violations, CIC recommends a 90-day suspension. The next one is regarding a false police report. If you look, it would be on page 71 there. The Lawrence Police Department's sworn oath of office states that officers commit to be honest in thought and deed in both personal and official life, Acting Chief Castro broke the law in an effort to cover up the mistake that he made. Instead of accepting the consequences for his actions, he fabricated a false police report. A police officer cannot put inaccurate information into a police report. As the leader of the Lawrence Police Department, this conduct is unacceptable. For the most important quality an officer possesses is their integrity. Acting Chief Castro has sacrificed his integrity for his own benefit. For these violations, CIC recommends termination. Unethical hiring practices is the next one. This is regarding the hiring of 3 officers. Acting Chief Castro took actions to hire unqualified candidates while having knowledge of the history of his serious disciplinary problems. Acting Chief Castro even refused to put his own name on someone's post application attesting to his good moral character, despite asking others to stake their own reputations. Acting Chief Castro's personal feelings about helping this person gain employment influenced his decision. He instructed Lieutenant Rossi not to send any further emails to post regarding the hiring process. He directed Lieutenant Rossi to close an internal investigation, and these allegations...
Council President.
You're not reading the redacted version.
Pardon me?
Councilor Ostrowski.
I'm adding Lieutenant Rossi is not a name that needs to be redacted at this point. The allegations that the acting chief violated the Lawrence Police Department...
Council President.
Manual policy. Did you want me to finish?
So, Vice President Infante.
Thank you. So, this report was signed with that name redacted.
Yes.
And you did not read a name of an employee that was hired, that was unethically hired,
Correct.
whose name is not redacted, but you chose to state a name that is redacted in this document. Do you see how that is not okay? Do you see how that can be?
Do you have the
like-
redacted document?
I do not have the conclusions in redaction. No, I do not.
That can be used against the city if chosen.
No, because Lieutenant Rossi is an employee of the city. The person whose name...
Can you read it exactly how, if a name is redacted, it's redacted. If a name is not redacted, this is all over everywhere. Thank you.
Okay. Attorney Hilton.
Okay, if you want to read. Acting Chief Castro took actions to hire an unqualified candidate, Mr. Furman. While having knowledge of the history of serious disciplinary actions, Acting Chief Castro even refused to put his own name on Mr. Furman's post application, attesting to his good moral character. Despite asking others to stake their own reputations on Mr. Furman's Acting Chief Castro, personal feelings about helping Mr. Furman gain employment influenced his decision. He instructed redacted not to send any further emails to post regarding the hiring process of Mr. Furman. He directed redacted to close an internal investigation into Mr. Furman's alleged criminal conduct. The allegation that the acting Chief Castro violated the Lawrence Police Department's manual policy code of ethics is sustained. For these violations, CIC recommends termination. Intimidation. If you go to page 77, the allegation that acting Chief Castro violated 7.2 conduct unbecoming an officer, 7.2.3 conduct unbecoming an officer shall include that which tends to indicate that the officer is unable or unfit to continue as a member of the department, or tends to impair the operation, morale, integrity, reputation, or effectiveness of the department or its members, is sustained based on acting Chief Castro's actions in purportedly creating a hostile work environment while redacted through their meeting. For these violations, CIC recommends termination. Retaliation. Page 79. For information provided to CIC about acting Chief Castro opening an old investigation as a form of retaliation was speculative in nature. CIC was not provided with evidence proving that acting Chief Castro opened up investigations against individuals and Captain Mangan as retaliation. The allegation that Acting Chief Castro, while acting chief of the Lawrence Police Department, attempted to reopen investigations against Redacted and Captain Mangan as a form of retaliation is not sustained.
All right, we have so far we have discussed the, how we actually get into this investigation, the findings, and the recommendations. Councilors, I would like to open up the floor for any questioning that we have in regard to this matter, to the city attorney and to anybody that is here.
Council President.
Council Vice President Infante.
Thank you. I'm going to reserve my question, but I have a quick statement. There are rumors going around stating that this document was leaked, and I just want this on the record that this document was sent out by the DA's office after it was redacted. It was not a leaked document or anything like that. It went through proper channels, and it was sent out by a proper department or agency.
If I may?
Attorney Hilton.
Just to confirm that, I have spoken to the district attorney's office. I've spoken to as a result of the FOIA by the police union. This document was provided to the police union and by the district attorney's office in response to that FOIA. There is no leak. The document, I also have a letter from the district attorney's office stating that too. So no one should think that this document was given out except by the FOIA process and only after the district attorney's office had a chance to redact.
Now that you talk about the FOIA, do you mind going over how the FOIA request for this document went through at your office?
Okay. It should be noted that when this was submitted, this report, it was submitted to Post. Immediately thereafter, my office received a subpoena from Post asking for the document. In that subpoena, I'm afraid the rest of it I would have to tell you in executive session, just because I believe that subpoena is still valid. There was information in that subpoena that I had to follow. As a result of that information in that subpoena, I could not give that report to anyone else. At some point, the police union objected to that. They then, there was a conversation between Post and I believe the police union. At some point, but much later, Post sent a letter to us stating that, in fact, we could release the letter. We could release the investigation. At that point, my office, and they were instructed to do it within 10 days. At that point, my office began redacting its own copy of the document. During that time, fortunately, it was the holidays, and the mayor was out of the country. There was only one day left when the mayor came back. When the mayor came back, we presented him with a redacted copy. Then the document came forth from the district attorney's office, so pretty much everybody had it at that point.
Is the date that you have, the deadline of the 10 days, is that pass?
It did pass. It was not.
By how long?
Well, everybody got the document, not from us, probably about a week after the 10 days.
So do you consider that a violation of the FOIA law?
I don't consider it a violation. I could, we asked for time, we had to redact it. And we were also informed Post that, Post, the document was supplied. Was it supplied as timely as it could have been? Probably not, but yes.
Just one piece of,
Madam Clerk?
thank you, one point of information with regard to public records from a municipality. You can, on that 10th day, you can automatically request an additional 20 business days, which I believe on this one we did because we needed the more time because we were in that kind of limbo situation. I know you've got a lot going on standing there, so I just want to add that piece. So there wasn't a true violation. We did go over the time, but within the confines that's allowed under the law.
It's a lot more going on than that, but we just leave it up to there.
Yeah.
Councilors, any questions in regard to the report? Councilor Rosario.
Attorney Hooton, can you share with us the cost of that report?
Yes. There was a contract with CIC. I have in my hands two invoices paid, which is a total of $38,967.50.
Both combined?
No, there's one, if you want the exact numbers, there was a first invoice in the amount of $9,417.50. And then there was a final invoice in the amount of $29,967.50.
Okay, how,
What's the total?
Uh,
Can you state the total again?
So $29,967.50.
So we need to add it, that's fine, okay.
okay, follow-up question. So how CIC was contracted? Did we went out to bid? Was a procurement process before we hired CIC?
We have a contract with them. I believe that this is exempt from the 30B, and we had used them before, so we knew of their, we signed a contract with them on August 1st of 2024.
Thank you, Council President.
Councilors, Councilor, just for the record, the total amount that we have, 9,417.5 plus 29,967, that add up to 39,385, just for the record.
And just so you are aware, the contract with them provided that it could not exceed $50,000.
All right, Councilors, any other questions?
Council President.
Councilor Luzon.
Thank you, Council President, through you. And I just want to go over a few dates. Did any notice was sent to Mr. Castro about a meeting with the consultant for an interview?
Did notice go? Yes,
Yeah.
I believe there were.
Do you remember the dates?
Got the date somewhere here.
It's, It says in the report that on October 9th, there was a request for Chief Castro to appear.
Can you take a look, because I think the first date is not accurate. I believe a notice was sent for an interview on the night. So I just want to make sure people understand that this person was given plenty of time to appear, and at least to appear, because he could refuse refuse to answer any question. So it's October 2nd.
October 2nd, the
Okay.
notice was delivered
Yeah, okay.
to appear on the 9th.
Okay, it did, to
Mr.
you,
Castro's
Consul.
attorney called and
Yeah.
said that he could not appear on the 9th and asked for another date.
Okay, so he was sent a notice to appear for an interview, and he basically declined to appear on the interview. So everybody else took the time to be interviewed by the consultant. Because you mentioned, the letter that, not you, the Madam Claire read at the beginning of the meeting mentioned in a statement from the mayor's office, from the mayor stating that the investigation is incomplete. But it looks like, it appears that the investigation is complete, but Mr. Castro refused to attend his appointment for an interview. To you, Council President, did this incident that happened, I'm assuming, did that provoke any issues with any office, perhaps the Human Resource Office? Castro deciding not to appear for the interview, did that cause any issue? It looks like that the dates, it matches the day that the Human Resource Director left or resigned. I'm not clear on that situation. So Castro was asked to appear on the 9th. He was sent a letter on the 2nd. And between those days, we lost a director here at City Hall.
I believe that is correct.
Okay. Do you remember the name of the director that we lost?
Yes, Michael Owens.
Okay. If that leaving had anything to do with this letter that was sent to Mr. Castro, according to your knowledge?
According to my knowledge, I have no connection.
You have no connection, okay.
Because I have, Michael Owens resigned much later.
Much later. But he left his office between the 2nd and the 9th. Is that accurate?
I believe
Okay.
it, no, I believe it was, well, I'm not positive the exact
Yeah,
date, so.
and
I'll
a
have to look at the
positive.
date.
But
But it
what
was
a,
around that time.
around that, what a coincidence, huh? Just for the record, what a coincidence that we lost a great employee. What a coincidence. To you, Council President, if I may, the net report was ready by December. Is that accurate?
This report was ready by December?
By December, because I personally requested the report by email, and some of my colleagues did that as well.
Understood.
Yes.
We were under a subpoena at that time, and we're not delivering it to anyone.
And we were not informed. The only answer that we received from your office,
Again, I could explain that, but I would have to go in executive session.
executive section, okay, well, that's fair, that you're saying that. So you receive a notice from the Attorney General, if I'm not mistaken, Attorney General, or the District Attorney, which?
Would be the Attorney General.
Okay, thank you for the correction. You receive a notice from them to release the report by the 7th of January, is that correct?
That is correct.
And you didn't do it? Your office kept the report?
We did not.
Okay, and why was that?
We were redacting at that point.
And it took you, my understanding is the report was ready by December. And it took you over a month to re-redact the report.
No.
No.
We did not start redacting until we were ordered to produce it.
Enlighten me with my next question, because I'm confused. Did you get the report redacted, or it's your responsibility to re-redact it or redact it? Which it is? Which one it is?
I have an unredacted report.
Unredacted report.
That's what I received.
And
It is
so,
my job, as with any document that's being disseminated, is to redact any information that I feel is disqualified.
and for the record, I need also to mention that via email, you did invited me to go to your office to speak, and I did not, because I wanted the report to share that with my constituent, not for my own personal entertainment.
Right.
Yeah, just for the record, I just want them
For
to
the record,
know.
any city councilor that wanted to come to my office, I was happy to speak to them, tell them what I knew, but not give them a copy of the document.
Is that accurate to you, Council President, that you released the report hours after the report was sent by the district attorney, my vice? By the district attorney. You released a report around after work hours on a Friday. Is that accurate?
I don't know if it was after work hours. I released it as soon as I was informed that the district attorney's report had been released. I then sent it to all news. I probably had 15 to 20 FOIAs.
Let me remind you, the district attorney said that you needed to release a report, I believe, on the 7th.
Okay, we have to be careful. It was not the district attorney
I
is
mean,
different from the attorney general.
The Attorney General, thank you for correcting me. I always get that confused. So they asked your office to release a report on the 7th. You waited until Friday after work hours, because you guys close, some of you working to 1, and you released a report like after, I think, after 3 p.m., something like that, if I'm not confused. But the point that I want to make is that it looks like you had this report you kept the report from the taxpayers that have the right to see what was there, and for the city councilors that have the right to read the report. That's what I wanted to make sure is on record. Thank you, Council President.
Yes, if I am ordered to do so,
Counsel.
I will not give it to the city council, I will not give it to the mayor, I will not give it to anybody. I will obey orders when given to me by government organizations. If the,
Council President, if I may,
Councilor Son?
you were ordered to release the report to the police union, and you refused. And then
I was
you
also ordered
have
not to
the,
give it.
have the, well, this is my opinion. And then you have the report hostage. That's the word that I have to use. Instead of giving the report, you were waiting, in my opinion, for the mayor's approval to release it. And the mayor's not the highest authority when it comes to the law. You work for the city of Florence, and your job is to make sure that we follow the law, not only the mayor or the city, now only the mayor. Your responsibility is to protect the city. So you were given an order by a higher office, and you decided not to release it. Thank you, Council President.
All right, now that you mentioned that you were ordered not to release, who was the one that ordered you not to release that report?
again, I would have to go into executive session to give you that information.
All right, Councilor Mamo?
You mentioned that on August of 2024 is when we hired CIC.
Yes.
Were there any investigations upon contracting them? Were there any investigations to which we've had any issues or we've questioned the quality of the report?
You mean by CIC? No. Were there investigations prior? Yes. Did we have any problems with their investigations? No.
So this seems to be like the first one that seems to be challenged.
I don't know that this investigation is being challenged. I believe that the mayor said that he felt it was, the mayor's office feels it's incomplete.
It's incomplete because it was requested to cease investigations?
No, it was incomplete because Acting Chief Castro was not interviewed in the report.
That brings me to the second question that I have for you. On this report, I see that only the mayor could order the acting chief to appear for this investigation, for this interview. Is that accurate?
He's the mayor's boss. Yes, I guess it would be true of any department head.
No, so there's obviously an investigation that's taking place.
Right, it's our investigation.
It's an interfering with the
But
investigation.
is it accurate to say that only the mayor has the authority to order for Mr. Castro to appear for this interview?
No.
So, okay, so then this is not accurate then, in terms of Castro's attorney saying that only the mayor had the authority.
No, but we have the right as an employee to request Mr. Castro to come in for an interview.
Before we continue, Councilor Mamo, do you mind going to page 7 of the report?
7 of which? Of the report?
Of the report,
file?
yeah, of the report. And on the description of the investigation, you will see on the third paragraph, can you read that for the record? And that way we clarify a few things there that is important on the report. Yeah, the third
CIC
paragraph.
attempted to interview?
Yes.
Okay. CIC attempted to interview Acting Chief Castro, it corresponding with Acting Chief Castro's attorney, Walter Jacobs. Attorney Jacobs also represented Mr. Furman, Mr. Abreu, who were individuals named as part of the allegations against Acting Chief Castro. The email exchange indicated that Attorney Jacobs was questioning CIC's authority to order Acting Chief Castro to appear for the interview. On October 2nd, Personnel Director Michael Owens sent Attorney Jacobs an order for Acting Chief Castro to appear on October 9th, an investigation interview. Attorney Jacobs replied to the email asserting that Mayor Brian DePena could order Acting Chief Castro to appear for the investigative interview. Personnel Director Owens was terminated by the City of Lawrence on October 3rd. That is incorrect. Mr. Owens was never terminated. On October 9th, Acting Chief Castro did appear for his interview at 15 Foster Street, did not appear at 15 Foster Street, Quincy, Mass. No adverse inference is taken against Acting Chief Castro for his failure to appear at this interview. As a result, CIC sent Attorney Jacobs an email stating that the investigation would continue. Additionally, CIC clarified examples of what policies and laws Acting Chief Castro could have violated if the allegations of his behavior were found true.
All right, thank you, Council Mamo.
So I just want to make sure that I'm understanding correctly that the attorney who represents Castro provided inaccurate information when responding to the person that's conducting this investigation by asserting that only Mayor DePena is the only authority to order Mr. Castro to appear for this interview.
Again, he may have believed that. That's not my position. My position is the Personnel Director can order Chief Castro to appear.
Okay, you answered my question.
So that happened, right? That happened, that the personnel director actually notified Castro.
Yes.
And as a result of that, Castro was not interviewed, and now we're doing a second investigation
Castro's
because...
attorney called up and said that he was unavailable on that date and would not appear.
Do you have that email? That Castro attorney actually said that he wasn't available?
I believe I could find that if you wanted it.
Because and what I'm...
And I'm not positive, it may have been by phone call, so
Yeah.
again, don't hold me to that it's exactly an email, but there was a correspondence either by email or by phone, so I don't want to be caught.
Because what I'm saying here is that we received a correspondence from the mayor saying that the investigation was incomplete. And the
Correct.
reason why it was incomplete because Chief Castro at the moment, he was not interviewed.
Correct.
And how we state here is that he was not interviewed because essentially he was not receiving the order from the mayor, and therefore we are now paying for a second interview, for a second investigation.
That's, again, I want to be very specific, that's not the way it went.
Okay, how it went?
Let's be specific, is that Acting Chief Castro did not show up because he said his lawyer could not be there and he would not appear without his lawyer. It was not because the mayor didn't order him, it wasn't for anything. The correspondence that I got was that without his lawyer, he's not showing. And he asked for a different date, and he gave a date.
They gave him a second day?
No, the lawyer gave a date, said, I can be available on, I believe it was the 26th. And we said, no.
So anyway, the investigation was directed to finish by October 10.
It wasn't directed to be finished, it was finished. The only thing that was remaining was the interview of Chief Castro, Acting Chief Castro.
Well, it says on the paragraph number 4 there. Can you read the paragraph number 4?
Sorry, I lost that again. What page?
Page 4, page 7, paragraph number 4.
On October 10th, at 6:20 PM, Mr. Spanner, a senior advisor to Mayor DePena, as a result of a purported instruction from Mayor DePena, instructed CIC to cease its investigation.
Yeah, it was, and then was
that-
directed.
That's incorrect too, because again, the word was pause. The word was pause. The word they use is cease. I'm not trying to nitpick, but the word was pause the investigation. Having completed its investigation, the CIC started completing its report. This report is being provided to Mayor DePena, Chief Counsel Tim Hooton, Lieutenant Paul Rossi, the head of the Lawrence Police Internal Affairs Unit.
I'll tell you that we have the mayor on record in public saying that they direct the company to finish the investigation. That was exactly what the mayor says. But that's fine.
That is a much later date. The mayor did contact CIC and asked them if they would interview Castro.
Okay. Councilor LaPlante?
So we have the Bennett report, and we're about to get the Maverick report. And I don't know much about Bennett. What can you tell me about CIC and Bennett? How often have we gone to them? If you can answer that. What kind of cases have they worked on? What's Bennett's background? I'm very interested in knowing this company veracity and competency and as they provide a report, because I think that's going to be questioned. So I really want to find out more about them if you have information on Bennett.
Let me just see what information I have. I do know that Mr. Bennett was the chief law enforcement officer for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts at one point.
Can you speak to the mic?
Oh, I do know that Mr. Bennett was the chief law enforcement officer. I think his credentials were impeccable. That's why we used him. I know we have kind of a summary of what he did, which I don't have in front of me. I know that he has people in his office that are formerly worked in the Attorney General's office, former police officers, so. Yeah, so that's why we picked them. They did a good job with the one before.
And I think that, let me finish this thought. What he produced based on the interviews that he had with whoever he had the interviews with, the results that you read are quite damning. There were 5 allegations. Motor vehicle pursuit policy was the only one that didn't ask for termination. That was a 90-day suspension. For each of the other counts, unethical hiring practices, false police reports, intimidation, and retaliation, all of those individually, each one of those, had a recommendation of termination.
I don't believe intimidation was.
Intimidation was not.
What was intimidation then?
I believe
Not
it was
conclusive.
not founded.
Pardon me?
Was not found. Retribution was not sustained.
So I'll remove that one. So out of the 5 counts, 1 was from 90 days, 3 were for termination, and 1 was not found to find enough substance to be able to provide a recommendation on any kind of actions against Mr. Castro.
Right, they didn't
Okay.
find enough evidence.
Okay, fair. Regardless of that one point, and it's an important point, let's be factual, right? But it's still very damning of that Bennett, in his report, found those were his findings.
Yes.
And what's troubling to me at this point is a couple of things. I don't want to go too far down this rabbit hole, because I do believe that we need to hear, I'm going to say I can't speak for anybody else. I need to hear from this other report, this Maverick report as well. I think it's important that I get that information, because apparently what I'm led to believe is that there is going to be documentation, there's going to be information that is going to undercut and undermine. Immediately correct me if I'm going on the wrong path.
I disagree with that.
Go right ahead. Go ahead.
I have no knowledge of what the Maverick report is going to say.
Okay.
The Maverick report might very well say that everything contained in the Bennett report is undisputed, all the evidence
Fair.
is perfect. It could say anything. I have no knowledge. The purpose of the Maverick report was not to repudiate, it was to supplement.
That's an important distinction, because the information that I'm getting from sources that we've discussed already this evening leads me to believe that while that is comforting, and that's the way it should be, that there is an anticipation that there's something in there. But I am speculating, based on information that I have, but because I haven't seen the report. It hasn't been released, so I don't know either. I have no idea. But the point here is that before I can actually cause and make any kind of final determination as to how I feel for the people that I represent regarding this matter, and this matter is what is going on with the police department regarding the practices that are there regarding at least one individual, what's happening. I need to see the whole picture. And maybe there's something about this Maverick report that I'm going to say that makes a lot of sense to me, or something I'm going to be that Maverick report and I'm going to say, you know something, that doesn't make sense to me. Not having all the facts, it's very hard to do it. So what I do know is this. Here's a fact. The fact is that what Bennett has provided is damning. That's a fact. There's no disputing that. And that we spend money on the Bennett, and we're spending money on Maverick, and we're spending money on acting police chiefs, and we're spending a lot of money. Indisputable. And so I'm not looking for a reaction. I'm making a comment. I'm not looking. It's not a question. It's a statement. So, and that's. I want to, I think I want to give credit to the senior leadership team of the council. For setting up the special meeting this evening. I'm not so happy that we waited an hour because my time is valuable, frankly, but I want to give you credit for bringing this matter up. I do think we should wait until we get the Maverick stuff out before we get to a full point. But I do respect, and I think that I do appreciate the fact that we're talking about this tonight, and that I'm being sincere on that. So anyway, that's the point. I don't have much more to say on this until I get that, but I think the people that I represent want to know where I stand on it, and I just want them to know through Council President where I stand on it is that I want to see all the information. I do know what I see right now. It doesn't look so fantastic. It doesn't look good. It looks very bad, but I do want to get all the information before I have some sort of final resolution and then figure out what do we do then, because that's going to be the next shoe. I mean, we can talk about all this, but then what? Then what? And I don't know what the then what is until we get all the stuff. Thank you.
Before we continue, we would like to go one round, and then we go back to you, Councilor Mamo. Yeah, Councilor Vice President, stick to the report. Stick to the report, please. Still to the report, please. Let's continue with the meeting. Anybody else that would like to go on the first round, Councilor that haven't spoken yet? All right, we're gonna go to the second round of questioning, and we're gonna start with Councilor Mamo.
I'm noticing a list of, towards the end, there is a bunch of emails that was not part of the report. As a counselor, do I have the authority or ability to request that information? Because I'm quite intrigued in terms of what was the wording and the communication between the attorney that represents Castro with the individual that's conducting this investigation. Because if at any point the attorney is misrepresenting that the mayor is the only authority to instruct Mr. Castro to appear to this interview, and as a result, that could have potentially have caused for this report not to be properly conducted, I find that to be a big issue.
Yeah, I would.
I want to see the emails.
So just so we're.
I also want to see the email or any correspondence to which the advisor to the mayor had sent to CIC, just to verify what was the wording in terms of whether this report or investigation is to be paused, seized, halted. Everybody has their own definition as to what each one of these words pertain, what does it mean? I just want to see for myself as to what that correspondence looked like.
No problem.
Thank you, Council President. And you mentioned, Attorney, that there's a second investigation
Yes.
going on. How many of the people or the individuals that we mentioned if you are aware, had been called for interview, had been interviewed.
I could not say. I do know that some of the same people that were interviewed in the first report were interviewed in the second report. I can't tell you that they interviewed everybody who they interviewed. I'm not privy to that information. I just happen to assist in providing 3 witnesses, so I happen to know that 3 witnesses for the second report were 3 witnesses for the first report.
And through you,
But
Council.
beyond that, I don't know.
Thank you for your answer. Through you, Council President. So
Susan?
for the next investigation to be complete, I'm assuming that all the individuals that are here, I'm going to get interviewed, plus Castro. That will mean a complete investigation for the mayor, because the only one that is missing, and this one is Castro, Mr. Castro. So I'm assuming that the new consultant is going to interview all these people plus Mr. Castro. Is that accurate?
I have no idea.
No idea. Okay, thank you. And through you, Council President, and what's the name of the new company?
Maverick.
Can you, are you familiar? Have we used this consultant before?
We may have, I don't know. I
You don't know.
did not engage them, so I'm not privy to that.
Okay. And
was the
who
one
hired,
engaging them?
Council
Pardon me?
President?
Who was the
mayor's
one
office.
engaging them? The mayor's office?
Yes.
Okay, that's for the record. The
Yeah.
mayor's office engaged them.
Council President, if I
Yes,
may.
give me 1 minute.
Oh, yes.
So he just said the mayor's office engaged into the hiring this company. Is that was the same case with the Bennett?
Pardon me?
Is that was the same case with the Bennett?
I'm sorry,
Is that was the same case with the
Well,
Bennetts?
Yes, the investigation was from the mayor's office through the personnel director.
Okay. Councilor Luzon.
So technically,
It's,
he was not there at the time.
Thank you, Council President. So we don't have a human resource director now,
We have a temporary.
a temporary one. So the mayor's office is not supposed to get involved in an investigation, because some of their members are being investigated, such as the advisor Spanier is there, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know what you mean by the mayor getting it.
I mean, did
To
they hire the second consultant?
Yes, they hired.
They hire, so the
But they hired
mayor's.
the first one too. I mean, it
I,
would
so
be.
you mentioned that it came from the human resource
Right, but
department,
but the
the
human-
director. There's 2 different things here.
Let-
Let me-
let- Okay,
If I may just explain.
wait. One at a time.
The human resource director has no authority to hire anybody without the mayor's approval.
So, and I thank you. So, the mayor office should not get involved in this type of investigation, because some of his employees are part of the investigation. It seems like it contradicts.
No, it actually would seem to be the opposite.
You think so?
If you wanted to protect your office, you wouldn't have an investigation.
Well-
By the fact that you're having an investigation, you're putting your people at risk.
Well, how about you taint the investigation by getting involved in hiring the consultant? How about that?
I think clearly you can see from here, I think it says it right in the investigation that they do not take being,
It's confusing.
take someone putting their hand in or weighing their hand.
It sounds very confusing, but.
Somebody
I mean-
has to hire, I mean, somebody has
But
to.
it does,
hire.
it has to be the mayor's office. How you gonna, it seems like it's
Well,
contra,
It's the city's money. That's what
Ah.
decides. I can't decide today.
so I'm paying,
Wait.
But
One-
I can't say,
Attorney
hey,
Hilton.
I think this is a great idea, I'm gonna hire this company. That's not my money, it's the city's money, someone has to authorize. The city council could say to me, hey, I think you should do it. The mayor, you're the representative of the city, that's how the money gets spent.
my understanding is.
Councilor Luzon.
Yes, Council President, if I may. It's confusing.
Okay.
Having the mayor's office doing the hiring for a new consultant to do a second investigation, from my point of view, we don't have to agree. In my understanding is that the human resource director was the contact person employee involved in the first in hiring the first consultant. That's my understanding.
That is
I may be-
correct.
Oh, that's correct. Great, thank you. That's what I wanted to hear. Thank you, Council President.
All right, Councilor De Rosario.
Thank you, through you. I just want to piggyback on colleague Mark LaPlante. I also would like to see the other one, but I appreciate you being here. Yesterday I expressed that, and that's why I asked you the question when you got in, are you going to be here as a city attorney, or are you going to be representing this report? Because I believe that, I heard last night that Mr. Bennett will be here if the city sign a waiver. I think we should start working on that for our next meeting and have him here answering on this report, because I believe that you are doing your best of what you can, but you did not get this report. So, and I appreciate what you're doing right now, even though, I mean, I have tons of questions that you're not going to have the answer. How many hours did Mr. Bennett spend doing this report? You know, those are things that interested me.
The only reason I can give you that is I can give you some information from the bill.
Yeah,
That's-
no, I understand that, but I believe that, and I don't want to use CIS either, right? We should assist this meeting, but we should pause it somehow and wait for the other report, and also bring in actually the all-stars of these reports. Maverick should be here when it comes to that, talking about the report. Bennett should be here talking about the report, and whoever is allowed to speak on this report that is in the report should be here answering our questions, or my questions. I'm not going to talk for all of us. My questions. So, I mean, to me, honestly speaking, with all the respect, and I said it last night, and it's on record, like everybody says, on record. I said it was irrelevant to have this meeting right now, which is engage us on this conversation, but most of our questions you won't be able to answer.
Correct.
So we're not gonna get.
As far as process,
Yeah.
what happened inside.
And we're not gonna get an
present
answer.
for
No.
Any interviews, didn't do any interviews.
Yeah, so we're not gonna get the correct answer. We're gonna be maybe blaming you for the process that you have nothing to do with, because clearly you said the mayor's office also paid for this investigation, or the city paid for this investigation.
yeah, I would put it-
And there was the mayor's office that instructed that.
I believe it actually came out of my.
Yeah, and the mayor's office instructed
One
the
at a
personal director to contract this company or company to do the first investigation.
Correct.
And because the investigation, they feel that it's not complete, they decide to go somewhere else, right? Another company.
That is correct.
So they contracted basically both of them,
They did.
right? So again, colleagues, we're going to need a second round of this, but we need to somehow start working on the waiver. The city gave Mr. Bennett the waiver. He can come and talk to us and all his findings. And also, Maverick should be here after we read that report. And then we can have more direct question and more direct answer when it comes to those reports. And that's all I have for tonight. Thank you, guys.
All right, any other councilors that
Council
would just
President?
speak on the second round?
Yes.
Councilor Levy.
Thank you, Council President. Yes, I agree with my colleague, Gregory, so we should wait for the other report, because right now we've been talking and talking about so many things, and we don't know what is going to be the result of the other one. My colleague says if they're going to interview the same person. We don't know, so they're going to interview, or there are more people that has to be interviewed, or there are more reports. I know that there is so many other things. There are email, there are phone, there are texting, and there are so many other things that we really don't have it. And I know that this is and this should be part of the report, or at least we should be ready to hear whatever that happened during this time. So there are so many things in there that we really don't know, and we are speculating in so many things at this moment. So I think, and whether or not we are paying or the city is paying for both reports, it doesn't matter if the administration is the mayor, but it's that the city is the one responsible for paying both reports, and we should wait, and when we can give also the other company, and this company, we have to give it them, and bring them over here that respond why is the difference, if there is any difference between reports.
Well, councilors, any other councilor that wishes to
Council
speak?
President.
Any other councilor that wishes to speak? Councilor Especial Infante.
Thank you. I would love, when we have the second meeting, I do think that we should have both agencies here with us. My worry with that is, we tried to do that. We tried to do the right thing for the personnel meeting that we had prior, pertaining to the police chief. We sent an official invitation to the consultant of that. And the consultant was told by our CAFO, or I'm going to say
By the administration.
by the administration, because who told the CAFO to say that, to not appear. We had questions that the consultant should have answered. So we're trying to do the right thing, and it gets stopped. And then we're going to have the second meeting, and then these two agencies are going to come at the discretion of the administration, and they're going to be capped on what they're able to say. Because that's how this has been working. And it's like, how do we move forward? Because there is this game that's being played that we're not getting anywhere. So if we're going to get answers, we need to start doing the right thing and move the needle along. There's no point of having the agencies if the administration is going to continue to get in the middle of us trying to do our work.
Madam Vice President Infante, as you mentioned the previous meeting and the obstruction of the administration not allowing us to speak with a consultant, I think that yesterday, as part of the record, this consultant was contacted by, I believe it was either the city attorney or the clerk, one of the two. Don't quote me on which. But they mentioned that it's a clause in the contract that doesn't allow them to disclose anything.
Correct.
But I'm not going to shame on the council at all, because we're not having them here. We didn't sign this contract, and we asked the mayor and the administration to avoid that clause so we can have them coming. Can you share that conversation that you had with the administration today?
Yes, the mayor would not waive the confidentiality clause.
Okay, thank you so much. Stop right there. For the record, it is not the council itself, councilors. It is not us. As he mentioned right now, we asked the mayor to waive that clause, and he denied it. So, shame it on the mayor, not on us. We're trying to do the right thing. We're trying to bring clarity to this report. That's all we're trying to do here.
I understand that, and just to complete what the mayor says is he's waiting for both reports to be done and then them to be discussed together.
Yeah, I mean, that's
his
fair,
position.
that's his feelings. We are 9 different councilors, and the administration is composed of a mayor and 9 councilors.
Understood.
We're trying to do one way, the mayor wanted to do his way, only way. That's the problem sometimes. So you might continue. Councilor Vice President, you have the floor.
That was the only point I wanted to make. Prior to this meeting, for those that may have not tuned into the personnel meeting, we were discussing the police chief search. I requested the consultant to be there, and the administration told him not to. He agreed to come, but the administration told him not to join our meeting. So why have a consultant? We can't even ask the consultant questions. So there's that.
Councilors, any other questions?
Council President.
Before we go to councilors that have spoken, any other councilors that haven't spoken yet on the second round of questions? I hear none, so I'll go back to Councilor Levy.
Thank you. I have a question. So the first report, you have to hold it because you have to wait for the Attorney General.
No, the post-commission.
You have to hold it, and that you couldn't release that report,
Correct.
okay? Because of who?
The post-commission.
Of the post commission. So the new report that we are waiting now has to be holded and wait for them to, before being released?
No, the post-commission has not subpoenaed the new document.
Okay, but when they submitted the new document, has to be holiday, or they can be released immediately?
No, again, we were prevented from another agency. If this document just came out tomorrow, someone handed it to me, and there was a FOIA, I would redact it and release it. If a state agency intervened and said, give it to them and don't give it to anybody else, I would follow that advice. So when the Maverick report comes out, I will have it, I will redact it, and I will release it to anyone with a FOIA. I will, obviously, no need for a FOIA from the city council, I release it to the city council. If in the meantime, I am contacted by a state agency or something who says I must only give them the document and not release it, I will follow that instructions too. But I don't have those instructions as of this moment.
Okay, so I want to make clear, so the new reports, if they don't get any objection for you to release, you're going to release immediately.
Once it's redacted, yes.
Well,
I need to look
yeah,
at it.
as soon as it's been redacted.
And just so nobody thinks that I'm, this is the report. It's not something that takes 2 minutes to redact. I'm sorry. It's not like 3 pages. There was 160 pages of it with supplements. I have to look to make sure that people are protected. And you can see even by my conversation tonight, I think that maybe there should have been another name that I should have redacted that I missed. So it's in no way looking to slow the process, but it's to protect the city because somebody's mentioned wrong, some information comes out, we're going to get sued.
Thank you.
Council President.
Councilor Luzon.
Council President, can I call Sergeant Michael Simar?
I think that if we stick to the facts of the report, and then you can ask the question. And
Do they have any statement from the union, Council President, that we?
I mean, they haven't presented to me, but I mean, if they're willing to, they can present a statement from the union.
Thank you, Council President. So we cannot ask him questions, just listen to
I
the
mean,
statement.
I'm not saying that you cannot ask questions. I'll say that they're gonna respond based on staying on the facts and on their own behalf.
Good evening, Council. Mr. President, Ms. Vice President, thanks for having myself and Lieutenant Razzo of the Lawrence Police Peer Officers Association here tonight at your request. And we speak on behalf of the 37 members of the Lawrence Police
Yes.
Department.
Just
I did
you're
notice
you're a
that-
little tall, so put it up.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. We appreciate that. This is probably the most important issue facing the city of Lawrence today. And we appreciate you having us here tonight because this saga has been going on for about 2 years. And unfortunately, the trust that we get from the public is fading fast because of this saga. And we want it to end one way or another. Councilor Del Rosario, I love your idea. Let's get Bennett in here and he'll speak for itself. And Councilor Infante too, the public suffers the most because of this. So there were some inconsistencies that were spoken tonight, and I'd be more than happy to clear that. At the risk of, I guess there was an attempted gag order given earlier to Lieutenant Razzo, who was here at your request. So I don't want to face the wrath of this administration because quite frankly, we've been facing the wrath for quite a long time, and it's unfair. In fact, I'll touch on one of the issues that was sustained by Bennett was the intimidation by one of our members. In fact, the man went on public radio today and publicly mentioned that individual who has been struggling and named him by name and referred to him as the one being intimidated. So this continues to this day, and it only affects public trust. We can't trust this administration. Everything that is being said needs to come out, and I think it needs to go to an outside law enforcement agency where it's independent, unbiased, and doesn't matter who hired who. We just need someone who's independent, unbiased. But like I said, I'm very frustrated for the hardworking men and women of this department. The mayor paints the picture of that. There's only 5 people or so that are unhappy. It's not the case. Us 5 are probably the only ones that aren't afraid to come before you and speak our mind to protect our members. So we're an open book. We're not without sin. We police our own and we hold ourselves accountable, unlike others in this administration. And quite frankly, we're sick of it. So I'll answer any questions that you want to ask that, without any retribution from this administration.
Councilor Luzon,
Do you need to invoke the whistle?
is whistleblower
Yeah,
statute?
Well,
please do, to be safe.
I would love to blow that whistle, and I have. In fact, the city has ignored my cries for help of a hostile work environment, along with the member that he spoke about today on public radio. They've ignored our cries for help because we have no voice in this city. We have no voice. And everybody in this room knows what's going on. Every single person in this room knows what's going on. And there's no doubt in my mind that everyone in this room. And it's sad. It's sad. I've been a police officer 28 years, and this is the worst I've ever seen it. And all for one reason, and it's to elevate William Castro, the police chief of the city of Lawrence. And for what? And this city suffers because of it. The proof is in the pudding.
Oh, and thank you, through you, Council President, and thank you for taking the time to be here, because I know you had an emergency. We appreciate your presence.
This is very important, Council. Thank you.
Are you familiar with the second agency that was hired by the mayor's office?
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm aware of that, yes.
Can you please share with us what's the agency, if they have been involved in other investigation in the state of Massachusetts that you are aware?
Yes, what I can say is that Maverick Investigation was hired by Octavian Spanner, who traveled to New Hampshire to hire them. They're not licensed to practice in Massachusetts, so they were able to supplement on the license of a Robert Budrick out of Tewksbury, Massachusetts, who used to work with retired Tewksbury Police Chief Alfred Donovan, who's done other investigations for this administration, and to Chief Roy Vask. So Maverick is two former Salem police officers who worked in Salem, who did the Maverick investigation at the request, I might add, which is public knowledge, is at the request of William Castro's lawyer.
Well, thank you for that. And through you, Council President, are you aware of any of the, I know that you must be familiar with the Bennett report, and how many individuals we have there? What's the count, or how many individuals were interviewed?
I know Attorney Hooton said initially that the Lawrence Police Department launched the investigation into William Castro. We simply did our job that day. I was a supervisor that responded to that, okay?
Okay.
Yes, I was a supervisor that responded, but in the Bennett report, there were 18 city employees of the police department that testified and gave truthful testimony to the Bennett report, 17 of which police officers of various ranks.
So, through you, Council President, how many, if you are aware, that have been interviewed by the new consultant?
That I'm aware of, again, Attorney Hooton alluded to the fact that he thought there, is that 4, is that what you said, Attorney Hooton?
I don't know.
He does,
And I'd like to confirm that, but I don't want to get in trouble for, revealing the subject of an investigation, but I don't think that's of substance, but there were 4, myself, 2 other officers, and from what I understand, Mr. Castro.
Okay, that's what I needed. I wanted the people to, that are watching to hear. Because from my point of view, if I'm assuming this new consulting agency is going to interview all the individuals that are here, plus Mr. Castro. That's from my point of view.
Council Luzon, I highly doubt that. From what I understand, the report is done with just those 4 people. When the agency did their interviews in this city council chambers, one of them was chewing tobacco, spitting into a Dunkin' Donuts cup while wearing blue jeans. So that is what you were going to get with this Maverick report. Quite frankly, it was a travesty that we were subjected to that, ordered by the mayor to attend, when Chief Bonilla would not order us because he read the Bennett report and he found no wrongdoing by these police officers. 3 highly decorated police officers with an unblemished record. But the city's going to say otherwise.
And my last question to you, Council President, can you go over what Post found, the report that Post submitted? Can you go over the findings?
Yeah, so what happened that day is Chief Castro was involved in a pursuit, and subsequently the allegations were that he was untruthful in his report. By statute, our internal affairs officer reported that to Post, and then couldn't investigate it because he can't investigate the chief. So it was kicked back to the city attorney's office, nothing was done. Post then says, well, listen, this is your investigation, let us know what you find. HR Director Mike Owens hires CIC Dan Bennett, former Director of Public Safety under Charlie Baker. His partner in his firm is the former Colonel of the State Police. So the caliber of this investigation and investigator is the cream of the crop. And then that investigation was launched because of the allegations made in the post-suspension of Castro of his untruthfulness, his hiring practice, and a few other indiscretions that they found, that Bennett found was the case, and ruled it in his very detailed report.
And I'm sorry, Council President, but this is going to be my last. How long did you wait for the Bennett report? How long did you wait it?
We waited a long time because we wanted the truth to come out. We kept FOIAing it. The state eventually said that Lawrence had to give it. They didn't give it. And we forwarded it with the district attorney's office, and sure enough, it came, and then we released it. We want you to see the Bennett report. You want you to see the Maverick report, and compare them when you get them. And just figure out what's going on here, and you'll see. Everyone's smart in this room. Okay? We owe it not only to the mayor, to the police department, but more importantly to the citizens of this city that we do what's right. And the police department is unfortunately suffering from this political volleyball game that's happening in this city. And it's sickening. Disgusting. And my members are suffering because of it.
But according to, I want to know about the time frame. Did you wait it 1 month, 4 weeks?
We waited, I would say, as far as how long we waited for from the initial FOIA, a couple of months, correct? Couple of months.
Couple of months. And according to your, when was the report ready?
When was it read?
Yeah, done,
Oh.
completed.
We think the report was done soon after Chief Castro failed to comply with HR Director Owens' directive to submit to an interview. Keep in mind, that was given on October 7th.
Yeah.
And he said he can come in 3 weeks, even though he's collecting $210,000 a year.
Another issue. But thank you so much. Thank you, Council President. Thank you for taking the time for.
Thank you for having us.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate this, and we hope that we can move the city forward. That's our.
Councilors, any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
One more thing for Attorney Houghton, so we can you can provide us with this date that is being a little confusing to some councilors. Since the pursuit happened in February, and the consultant was hired to start the investigation on August. Why 6-month waiting period for that to happen?
I think there was an internal investigation by the mayor's office first. There was the report by the police department. There was a review. And I think then it was just looking for someone to do it.
Was that 6 months and 17 days total before, by the time, between the time that the incident happened and the time that Ben start doing some interviews?
Understood.
Councilor Blunt.
I don't want to, I thought I heard you just say that there was a series of Bennett, Maverick, but initially there was an investigation by the mayor's office?
The mayor's office looked into it after a result of the police informing them. They did an internal investigation. They did not hire an investigator, they just looked at it themselves.
Do we have their findings? What were their, do we
We
know
have a
what
letter, yes,
We have a letter that, from the mayor's office after they did their initial report?
yes.
I would think that's probably germane to this conversation. If
I believe
if we're going to be looking at all the reports, right, if we're looking at the whole thing, we should probably have a copy of that.
Sure.
Do you want to request that, Councilor
I
Blunt?
just did.
I mean, usually when we don't do things through a motion, I mean,
Well,
kind of tough.
The city attorney has never disappointed this counselor with, and I don't think any of us, I can't speak for anybody else, utmost professionalism, and I know that he will respond accordingly. So do you need a motion, city attorney, or can we just provide it?
If the council president wishes to give me a list, I think I have a list of what I think I need to supplement, but if the council president would give me a list of the documents that this board would give, I'm more than happy, that way, I don't mess up, nobody says I'm trying to hide anything, but I'm happy to give you any document, and all documents I
Yeah, we'll
have.
provide you with a list.
Thank
To
you.
you, if he's done.
Yep. Councilor Blanc, are you done?
Council, what do you want me to ask for?
Ask for the contract of the new consultant.
The Maverick.
Can we,
Yes.
there's a desire to get a contract for the Maverick consultant, Maverick?
But-
For Maverick.
Put it on the list, yes.
I guess the council president's keeping the list? You
Yes,
keeping that
we
list?
are
All right.
keeping the list
Checking
and
it
we,
twice.
so far we have the Maverick contract, we have the initial investigation from the mayor's office, and,
Certain councilors have asked for the addendum.
the addendums.
So you got the report, you did not get the addendums, which are the
Gotcha.
supporting documents. I will
Yep.
get the supporting documents. Again,
And, Councilor Blanc?
Yeah, just to wrap this up, I don't know how much longer this is going this evening. I've pretty much exhausted what I needed to find out for tonight, because I've read the report, but it was good to get the clarification. It adds to the comprehension. But are we expecting that we're going to table this evening, or are we expecting to?
Yeah, we are.
to-
I mean,
to-
as the desire of if that's the desire of the council, I think that we're
understand.
sure, and that we can add the report and then open up another meeting eventually.
I mean, I don't know where we are on this thing. I'm ready at any moment now to table this matter and.
Yeah, we
for
have a few
date,
councilors that would
another
like to
date. Fine.
have other questions. Councilor De Rosario?
I just have one question about the letter that the councilor LaPlante actually asked. Was this letter drafted by you?
no,
You didn't draft this letter?
no.
What letter are they referring to?
No. The letter that the letter that he requested. I mean,
Oh, the original report from the mayor's office?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a question.
Councilor Levy?
Yes, he mentioned that not just only there was some kind of investigation at the level of the mayor office, but also at the level of the police department. Are we going to be able to get those two?
The internal police investigation,
Yes.
I'll see if I have that. I don't know if there, is there a...
The Internal Affairs? I don't think that they were able to do an investigation, because they cannot investigate the chief. I don't think that they did one.
Yeah, they did one. That's it. He mentioned.
There's only the police report? Those are all part of those are contained in the documents I will give you.
Okay, thank you.
Council President,
Councilor Vice President Infante.
thank you. Attorney Houghton, within the report, it states that after Post eliminated Chief Castro at the moment, suspended. Thank you. My mind wasn't working. Suspended.
I understand.
Eliminated, boom.
Provisional Chief Castro. It states that he engaged in certain city official business pertaining to the police department, particularly budget conversations with other members being present. Was he able to do that? Was he able to be part of those conversations? Because from my understanding, he was not.
There was supposed to be no contact. I believe that was part of the new provisional chief being unable to do the budget.
But regardless of that, was he allowed to engage in those official city business conversations?
He was not supposed to.
Okay. So I did ask this question before, and my answer was, the answer that I received was that the city attorney said that he was allowed to come into this building
Correct?
and was allowed to participate. That the mayor gave him permission to come in and to participate in those conversations after the discretion of the city attorney. That was the answer I received. So can you clarify that, please?
The answer is, I was asked if William Castro could enter City Hall. Could he work? Yes. My answer was yes on both of those. Could he involve himself in anything involving the police department? My answer was no. But as chief of staff, if he wanted to work with the DPW, as chief of staff, if he wanted to do anything, he's still being paid as an employee of the mayor of the city, He could be asked to come in, he could be asked to come in, this is a wild example, and sweep the floors. He is an employee. His only prohibition was that he could not engage in anything involving the police department.
Thank you, which from my, and correct me if I'm misinterpreting what I read within the report. From my understanding, it was pertaining to the budget of the police department, which from what now you're clarifying, he was not allowed to do.
He was not supposed to engage in anything
So
with the police department.
we broke that law.
Anything with the police department.
Okay, thank you.
So essentially, you're referring to the April 19 meeting that happened between then suspended Chief Castro, the mayor, or the representative of the mayor's office, the current chief, and another officer.
I believe
That's what you're referring, Councilor Vice President,
That's what
right?
the report states.
That's what the report says. So but according to the post-suspension, it says very clear that this person cannot engage into any police activities.
That is correct.
And that was violated on April 19 during that meeting.
That's what again, I was not present, but that's what the report says.
Okay.
Council President,
Councilor Santiago.
I have a question about the chief police contract.
Yes.
Um,
So, and I hate to say this because this is good, which chief of police?
That's
Castro.
sad. That's sad. That's very sad, actually.
Castro.
Okay.
And the general question is, the acting chief police, can they have contract?
They can, I don't recommend it. Chief Vask before had a contract on a temporary basis. It's a little different with Chief Vask because he came from the police department. Chief Castro came from the city hall. And I believe the purpose of that contract was to protect his rights to return to work if he was summarily dismissed as police chief.
Why do you not recommend?
I don't think it's necessary. I think it's a temporary position. I think you're terminable at will by the by the chief, by the mayor, and it's a temporary position. Again, we don't have contracts for permanent positions, so I don't recommend it as a practice. Is it illegal? No. Is it prohibited? It is not. That's my opinion.
The reason that you didn't sign?
Again, there's so many miscommunications on that, and I just want to say this one time finally. I review all contracts for the city of Lawrence. I review them for form. I don't order anything that's contained in there. I don't draft the language contained in there. I don't say whether it's good that we buy salt for the DPW. That's not my job. My job is to look. Have all the appropriate parties signed the contract? Is it legally enforceable? Are the terms correct? Are all the documents there? That's all I do. So I am to form, if you see my signature at any time, it says as to form, meaning that I believe that the form of this contract is correct. Not that it is, that I believe that the city needs it or should do it or wants it. That's not my prerogative. Mine is just, if the city wants to enter a contract, is it legal? And that's what I signed.
One more question, President. If you are the lawyer for the city, who made the contract for the employees?
Who makes, everybody makes their own contracts. If there's a contract in the DPW director makes it. If there's a contract, I draft the contracts for people in my office. So when you see a contract for the first assistant, second assistant, I've drafted that because they're my employees. If it's someone in the mayor's office, they draft their own contracts. And, most of the contracts we get are from outside agencies, but yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Through you, Mr. President.
Councilor Reyes.
I want to go back to the investigation. We had two companies from our city to do the investigation to to identify and present the clarity about this issue. How many investigations we have? We had 2 for the city, and also we have 1 from police department.
I'm afraid at this point I'm not going to answer because some of those people don't know they're being investigated. Sometimes the if I were to tell you that we have various investigations, people may not respond to them, people may not respond. So there could be other investigations, there could not be other investigations, but when they are completed, I will give you the information. But again, if someone were investigating me for fraud, you wouldn't tell me because then I would know.
I go back to agree with my colleagues because when you don't have the answer and we have the question, we make a question, but we don't have the answer. It's a little bit.
I understand that.
I want to say frustrated, but I don't want to use that kind of word. But we try to we have our own question, but what they mention, you can respond some, you cannot respond another one. So it's complicated.
I will say it again, and I'm sorry if I repeat myself. If any individual counselor wishes to come one-on-one and come to my office and wants to know some information, I'm happy to share any and all information. This is a public meeting. Everything I say and do here is publicly known.
Yes.
Things I cannot tell you here, I can tell you in private.
I'm very appreciative you be here, but and also we have our constituents and they want to be more information about this kind of
But if I told, again, if I told you in private, I would tell you you cannot tell anybody that information.
Councilor Levy?
Thank you, Council President.
So you did Council, but before we, Councilor Reyes, you done?
Yes, I'll be good. Thank you so much.
Councilor Levy?
Okay, Councilor Santiago asked you about contract, the different contracts that people sign. So I just heard that one of the contract is not illegal because they need 3 signatures, or that is okay to have 2 signatures?
No, they do not need my signature to be legal. A contract is between parties.
It's between the parties.
Do you have, before we go on that, do you have the charter with you? The city charter? Do you have it with you?
The charter? No, I do not.
Yes,
have it.
okay, let me pass the charter to him, please.
I wish I knew there was a quiz. Yes.
There's a 3.6, the section.
What you're referring to is section 3.6. It says the city attorney shall draft all contracts.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Levy, you might continue.
Well, I'm just waiting for answer regarding the contract, regarding,
The contract can be, again, the contract can be legal without my signature.
contract can be legal without the signature.
Yes, if it has the appropriate, both parties to the contract sign it, it is a legal and binding contract.
So this is something that I saw on the news, the TV, that's, that we were having contract that is not legal.
No, the question was not about the legality of the contract. The question was about drafting the contract. So that was the interpretation of the news. That was what I was questioning.
And I don't draft the contracts.
So can somebody, like you say, it's between
But it
the
says on the
parties.
city charter that 3.6, that you sure? It shall.
It says shall draft all contracts, leases, deeds, bonds,
All right.
conveyances, obligations.
Thank you so much.
I have never in my life as an attorney
Well,
ever
that's fine, but
drafted a
it's, that what I want to establish is that it's on the charter.
bond. Yes, it says draft. They don't.
Thank
put
you.
In the term of I write it.
It's
The
not.
the city attorney shall draft all contract and leases.
Should draft, but at the side.
Shall draft. Not sure, shall.
Well, but he
an
said
obligation.
that doesn't need the 3 signature because they've been calling this, this contract, it's not legal because it's a missing signature. And what I can see on the different contract is that It's the same contract that was signed a couple of years ago for somebody else, and it's practically the same, only change name and amount.
You also misinforming the public right now, because the contract that you're referring to, Councilor Levy, is the contract for the former Chief of Police, Roy Basque, and that specifically state that it's a month-to-month contract. So read it, and that way you can get informed, and that way you don't say in general that it was the same contract, because in Section 5 of Castro contract, it says that if he doesn't get confirmed to his employee, he's going back to the chief of staff position. So it is not the same contract, because Roy was not the chief of staff.
It's not.
And so, and
But
then
we're
don't say that
talking
it's the
about-
same, because you hear on the radio.
We're talking about signature. That a signature is being missing, and it's not, according to the attorney, because it's between the parties.
But according to the city charter that he read, section 3.6, which is the main law of the city, it says that he should draft it.
Drop.
Shall.
Oh, wow.
Shall.
Okay, shall, okay. But no time.
Thank you. Any other councilors?
Council President,
Sign is one thing, and draft
Council
is another
President,
thing.
Councilor Luzon.
and I'm just gonna ask a question. So who through you, Council President, who draft the contract between the mayor and Castro?
I have no idea. Was not me.
So we're getting information. So according to what we know, Mr. Castro wrote his own contract, for the record.
I have no idea.
But it's your responsibility to look out for the city and for the mayor. So did you review the contract,
Yeah, he did.
I reviewed
Okay.
a proposed contract.
proposed contract? Because your job is to make sure that the mayor is doing something legal.
Correct.
Did you ask who wrote the contract? Who wrote the contract when you review it?
No.
Okay. So
So,
for
and-
the
and-
record,
To be honest with you, and we're parsing hairs there, both counselors are correct. What I'm assuming, because they look so similar, is somebody took the draft of Roy Vass' contract, scratched out the names, and wrote in
No,
Castro changing the terms.
that was not the case.
no.
That was not the case, because
Through you, Mr. President.
that was not the case. Let's stop misinforming if we haven't read it. The Roy Basque contract says it's a month by month,
I'm not saying they're- I'm
month
not
by
saying they're
month
identical.
terms.
Council President, I'm not saying they are identical. Much the same as I do with any document. If I do a document with Council LaPlante, I do a document with you. What I do is I take a base contract that I have, and I modify it to the terms that you want, whether it's month to month or week. If you look at the contract, it's similar in nature. I would say that someone found a draft, modified it. I'm not saying it's
Yeah,
identical.
and
In
that's
no way is
nothing wrong with that.
identical. For it to be identical, it would have to be with Roy
But
Vass. It's
but that
not
was
identical.
but that was not the case, and we keep on saying that it's identical. It was not
I'm
identical.
not saying it's identical, I'm saying they are similar. It seems to me that somebody took an old document, said, I like it. I get that quite frequently. I find documents and I look at it and I said, well, this is the old, WIB president document, they copied it. And they changed it. It's a new document, but I know where the base came from.
Yep, I got you.
Council
you, Mr.
President, I
President.
have the floor. I
Councilor
think.
Luzon have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you, Council President, I appreciate it. So when this contract was drafted, and I'm asking because I'm not completely, I don't know, is Mr. Castro was the chief of staff when this contract was drafted?
I believe yes.
Okay, so the chief of staff can write contracts?
Again, I don't know who wrote
You
the
don't know,
contract.
okay. But it's illegal is that a conflict of interest if an employee writes his own contract? Yes or no? Is that a conflict of interest?
Not illegal, I would review it.
No,
but
conflict of interest, not illegal or legal, that's two different things.
Again, not a conflict of interest. If you were to ask me to become the personnel director and told me to draft my own contract, I would do that. there's no problem with that. I would have it reviewed by another attorney to make sure the city's protected, but there's no problem with who drafts it. That's the purpose, is you have to look at it to see
Well,
what the conflict is.
According to the city charter, it's a problem for the city council, and I understand your point of view.
President.
Okay, and so you just said that it's possible that Castro wrote his own contract and the mayor signed it. And
It's very possible, it's
it's
possible. the
very
mayor wrote it.
possible. And I think it happened like that. Thank you.
I have no knowledge.
Yeah,
You don't have
councilors,
no
councilors,
knowledge.
let's just
Thank
stick to,
you.
let's just stick to the Bennett, let's just stick to the Bennett report. Let's just stick to the Bennett report.
Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. Councilor Vice President, let's just stick to the Bennett report, please. Thank you.
I was going to clarify. The
No, that's fine.
The
I mean, it's
Massachusetts,
been said.
because, all right, I'm just gonna read this, the perks of having a city laptop. I just Googled, the question that my colleague had here, and I'm just gonna read it real quick. In Massachusetts, a mayoral chief of staff may not have direct or indirect financial interest in a contract made by the municipality they work for without an exemption. This is due to the state's conflict of interest law, which aims to prevent public employees from acting in their own self-interest. If that's the case, even if you were to ask, I don't think they would be truthful of who wrote the contract. And that's all I want to say.
All right, thank you, Councilor Vice President Infante. Anything else on the Bennett report, councilors?
Yes, I would like to ask,
Councilor, you have a question for?
yes.
All right, Councilor Reyes.
We can have for the next meeting both contracts, for we compare, because when I see through the social media, I look like very similar, both contracts.
So we're talking about
I talking about for the chief contract, because I
Oh,
want to
okay.
compare
The
with
temporary
Basque.
Police chief
Yeah,
contracts?
yeah.
Yes,
I want to have both to see the difference, because when I saw it in the social media, I already see it. But I want to compare to see what my president mentioned, what is the difference in both contracts. But right now I'm not.
If you want, and I hate to say later, I could run right in the copy machine and give you both right now.
Oh, I really appreciate it.
We're compiling a list.
Okay.
That way we'll have
Okay.
all the documents.
Well, like this, so there is no.
Councilors, anything else on the Bennett report?
I think when we had the full documentation, it's amazing to have to read and compare and everything like that.
Yep, look at the terms. That's important too. Councilors, any other questions in regard to the Bennett report? I guess that we are ready to do the next step, which is up to the city council. What do you guys decide to do with this item?
Motion to table?
There's a motion to table. No discussion on the table matters. Can I hear a second? Properly second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Motion to adjourn?
There's a motion to adjourn? There's a second?
Can we adjourn?
Second, Councilor
Oh, we can
Councilor Mamor.
reconvene.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I just was trying to.